you're still with me, then congratulations. Let me tell you what the avatar for this training looks like. In other words, who is this training really geared towards? If you decide that this training is not for you, after we go over who the avatar is, it will be a good time to drop out. You, right, as an avatar for this training, you are a technical professional, and you want to know about machine learning without getting lost in the ancillary math concepts. And these math concepts, they are important, but oftentimes they are irrelevant from the point of view of a programmer or someone looking to solve a business problem. So in other words, I don't need to be a mechanic in order to drive a car. Some people are going to disagree with that, and that's completely their prerogative. I just don't care enough to argue with people who hold that opinion. These episodes, they're for non-technical people who want to understand artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning and reinforcement learning so that they can apply it to a business use case. They can even see if there's a business use case. Those are the people who gain the most from these episodes. However, if you are an intelligent individual and you're simply interested in this topic, in this disruptive topic of artificial intelligence, and this topic is already taking jobs and is projected to change the world economy within the next decade, if you're an intelligent individual with a high degree of curiosity, then I'm sure that you will find value in this training as well. Let's next talk about why this even matters, right? If anyone does a Google search on Ernesto Lee, then you'll find that I was very interested at one point in time in my life in blockchain technologies. In fact, I still am interested in blockchain technologies. Blockchain, it has the potential to democratize technology, and institutions that have thrived by becoming a central authority, blockchain has the potential to disrupt that. And that is good for, frankly, all of humanity. Blockchain has the potential to be used for a greater societal good. One day, I was working on developing a course called Blockchain and Artificial Intelligence. I was doing that at Blockchain Training Alliance, where I used to, a company I founded probably a year or two back. I founded it with a couple of partners. And we were working on a course called Blockchain and Artificial Intelligence. And I was awoken from my dogmatic slumber, to borrow a phrase from Immanuel Kant. And I say that I was awakened with respect to the truly revolutionary power of AI. Artificial intelligence, it's going to do more to shape your future in literally every aspect of your life than any other technology. Now, I know that is a huge statement, but it's not an overstatement. It became clear to me that those who did not appreciate the power of this sleeping giant of artificial intelligence, those people are going to soon find themselves left behind. The acceleration of this technology, it's absolutely mind-blowing. As big data has gotten bigger and computer processing has gotten more powerful, then that has really paved the way for a revolution in artificial intelligence. So let's look at the history concretely. Let's look at how fast this technology is taken over. Consider this. Alan Turing, brilliant mind, has invented things that are still in use today, right? Probably over 100 years ago. Alan Turing, he proposed a test to determine a boundary for deciding if a computer was intelligent. Now, the gist of this test was to determine if we could interact with the machine and see if we could tell if what we were interacting with was actually a machine or if it was a human. If the humans couldn't tell the difference, then the computer passed the Turing test and it was considered intelligent. Okay, so that's the Turing test. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was about 2014 or 2015, something like that, Google trained an agent that could interact with humans as part of its help desk support system. And to everyone's surprise, most did not know that they were interacting with a machine. In fact, this agent was able to not only, quote, help, it was able to express opinions. It was able to discuss questions of morality. It was able to answer fact-based questions, which we would assume would be a lower bar because those look like a bunch of if-then statements. However, even generic fact-based questions that were broader, they were able to answer those without a human on the other end knowing that it was a computer. Now think about the nuance that we exhibit when we communicate, and consider that this agent could master all of that. Let's look at Alphago. Alphago, it's AI, and it's able to routinely beat the world's best Go players in a game that has 10 raised to the 170th power. That's 10 to the 170 possible positions on the board. Now, if you want context for how many positions that is, there's only 10 to the 21st power possible positions in chess. 10 to the 21. There are only 10 raised to the 80th power of atoms that even exist in the entire universe. In 2017, OpenAI created an algorithm that invented its own language. And it invented its own language because it realized that human languages were inefficient and hindered it from creating its goal in a fast manner. 2018, Facebook trained AI models to negotiate and even train AI models to strategically lie. Think about this. A lot of your day-to-day technology is powered by AI. Anytime you go on YouTube and start looking up stuff, it's learning from your searches. I recently took a trip from Fort Lauderdale and Miami area out to Haifa in Israel. And on that trip, I noticed that all of the signs were in Hebrew or Arabic. So what did I do? I pulled out Google Translate, and it translated everything for me instantly. I could even speak English into the application, and it would translate it for me instantly. We use AI to instantly analyze medical tests, both visually and textually, so that we can escalate to the appropriate specialist immediately if we need to. We use AI for evidence-based cancer treatment plans. You should look up benevolent AI, right? Benevolent AI. It once said, imagine a scientist or imagine a doctor who could remember every single paper that they ever read. Now let's look at what happens when we add AI into this. Let's go a little further. Imagine a doctor or a scientist that can remember not only every paper that they've read, but they can read every single paper that has ever been published in medicine, in biology, in chemistry. And on top of all of that, it can learn from that and discover patterns and inventions from that knowledge. It can learn patterns and inventions in data that has never been seen or recognized before. Imagine the sheer scale and the speed of the discoveries that will be made in our lifetimes. It will be made in our lifetime. We are no longer even surprised by machines doing things that were done by humans for centuries. There was a 2-year study from McKinsey Global Institute, and in that study, part of what they concluded was that by the year 2030, intelligent agents and robots, they could replace as much as 30% of the world's current human labor. If you think that is not realistic, Do the lightest Google search ever and look at how automation is literally changing every single industry. Not one industry is immune to AI. Automation is AI. McKinsey suggests that in terms of scale, the automation revolution, it could rival the move away from agricultural labor like occurred in the 1900s in the US and Europe, and more recently the explosion of the Chinese labor economy. McKinsey believes that depending upon various adoption scenarios, automation is going to displace between 400 and 800 million jobs by 2030. And this will require as many as 375 million people across the globe to switch job categories entirely. This is similar to Alan Ludd, who was upset that machines were replacing people way back during the Industrial Revolution, and so he had his people jam their sabots, their shoes, he had them jam those into the machines. Now here's a worthless trivia, an interesting side note. That's where the word sabotage comes from, right? During the Industrial Revolution, those that learned the technology of the day, they were able to thrive. And those that tried to hold on to the old ways, they simply found out that those days were gone with the wind. We have something similar that's happening right now with AI.